Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see a big crowd here for this kickoff meeting of the cartography knit along with the Cashmere goats. So super great to see some new faces and some real regulars to our knit along community. Just give it another little bit. If you feel so inclined to put your your name and where you're joining us from in the chat, you can, but you don't have to. It's up to you. I am Iris and I work at Cashmere Goat. And tonight, for this very first fun kickoff call for this knit along, we are joined by Myranda, my coworker and colleague at Cashmere Goat. Myranda, I'm gonna pin you and I right now. It's gonna be scary because we're gonna have to you know, be big on the screen and everything like that.
Won't be big on my screen though, right? That's all right.
And I asked Miranda if she'd be willing to come for this first call because she's kind of I mean, we all have experience with color work, but Miranda is a really exceptional teacher. She's gonna maybe feel shy because I'm gonna compliment her right now.
Yeah.
But Miranda teaches our stranded color work class and at the goat, and she's also just like such a fantastic creator of help documents, and oh my gosh, just she's the mind behind both the document that you received in the welcome email that was like the stranded colorwork basics tips, and then also the if you were taking blazing your own trail on this cartography knit along and maybe coming up with some of your own motifs and designs. That was also Miranda's brainchild, and she really did a lot of like heavy lifting brain work. Before I get too much further, can everybody see both of us or just Miranda?
Just
No,
you.
You.
just me. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe I
Hi.
need to
Oh,
spotlight.
I can see Miranda.
I still have the
Hi.
whole spectrum of everyone.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try spotlight. How's spotlight look? Do you see
Now she's
Miranda?
the whole screen.
She's big. Okay.
Hi.
I'm gonna like add me too. So are we
Here
both
we go.
spotlit?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Excellent.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. So really when we kick off the knit alongs, we it sort of depends on the size of the group, where we have almost like 30, almost 30 people here. That's a big size. So what I thought we could do to start is to maybe open it up. If anybody has special color work questions, Miranda's going to be with us throughout the first 15 or 20 minutes of this. So if you have some like burning color work questions that you'd love to have answered, great. I mean, we all have a lot of knowledge too, but I thought it'd be fun to hear from Miranda. I see Cynthia has a hand up.
Oh, can I interrupt just for 1 second? I
Sure.
I can't get the link on my iPad. Can you text me the Zoom link? Because for some reason my iPad's not working to get your link, but I can get you on my phone.
I can't text it to you, but I'll email it to you. Does that work?
That's works. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Yep. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry. So was there someone that like you can wave a hand, you can even just unmute and like start asking your question too?
You called on me. I'm Cynthia from Minneapolis.
Cynthia, hi.
Hi. And I am really a reluctant gauge piece knitter, and I've been reading a lot about how I really should do this. And my question is, when I'm doing a gauge piece for color work, do I just skip over the ribbing part and get right into the color work to make a gauge piece that I'm eventually going to tear out?
So, like you're making a gauge swatch. I think
Yes.
you still want to have some sort of edging just so that, it doesn't roll up for you. It'll just make it easier to measure
Okay.
accurately. Yeah, I always do edging. like a ribbing or seed stitch or something.
Okay.
What do you think, Iris?
On the well, so for my color work swatch, remember I did that little like wrist warmer thingamajig. I did
Mhm.
not do yeah, so I just did a little ribbing at the bottom and then basically knit a long wrist warmer slash cup cozy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's pretty long. So if it
It
were
does,
to
yeah.
roll, it wouldn't really matter. But if you're doing like a standard 4-inch swatch, I would do a little edging, ribbing, something like that.
Okay. The other part of the question was mentioning that you should do your swatch in the round if you're going to knit in the round. And so should it be a bigger piece, like larger than 4 inches, since it's going to be knitted in the round?
I think I think it was in your welcome email, Iris, you recommended doing a cup cozy.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great way to swatch for this. Or you could do the hat. I mean, I know that's maybe it's bigger than your average swatch, but um just the cup cozy I think would be fine. There are ways to knit flat, like knit your in the round swatch flat, but I find especially with color work, the little tricks for me personally affect my tension. So I like to just really just go in the round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Same.
you.
Great question though, Cynthia. And nice to have you back on a knit along.
Yeah. I'm happy to be back. It's winter time. Time to knit.
I have a question.
Um,
This is Pat.
Hi, Pat. Yeah.
How are you? I
Cool.
decided to do the hat, which I did, but in watching everybody's colors, I was so inspired by your color combinations when I finish my dog star. I may actually try to do this because the dog star is so boring at the moment with all that just plain knit, and this at least has something going on every inch of the way. But my question is this, because I got the pattern out this afternoon. How do you know how much yarn to order? I mean, it gives you how much yarn for your size for the main color, and it says altogether all the contrasting colors are this much yarn. How do you know how much yarn to order for the contrasting colors? Say, if you only want to have 3 contrasting colors. I know they've given you some charts and you have to choose between the charts maybe on color. I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay, I shush. How?
Yeah, so they only give yardage for one of the for just contrast colors
All together.
all together.
Well, how'd y'all do it?
Yeah, well, how did you do that, Iris? When in mine, because I'm kind of winging it, I'm really just I'm winging it. So I just have all kinds of odds and ends. So as long as I just went with my main color, as long as I had enough for that.
And then just pull from your stash for your little color, your other colors, not thinking you might repeat them later on.
Well, yeah, I'm not, but I'm doing a custom thing. I'm not following the charts for
Okay, I love you.
the yeah. But yeah, so did you have a workout for did you do any of the math or anything? Did we think about this?
So because I am using 6 colors, a main color, and then all these other colors, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I
So
just got a skein of all
the
those
gain of
colors
all of them. Yeah.
and I'm working from all of them and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be fine because I have all of this.
So one
Yeah,
skein per
really.
color and you haven't run out.
Oh no. Nope. I would
Yeah.
say yeah, no, you
What
would
if
be
you
fine.
decided
So
to just use 3 of the colors plus your main color? So that'd be 4 colors.
I think you'd
Mm-hmm.
still be totally fine. I mean, I think um the only sort of like brain bending we've had with this so far is for the folks who are like, "Hey, I just want to do the yoke in a contrast. I
Oh,
don't want to do it all over." So then we've had to sort of do some cross
yeah.
comparisons and and that's a little bit different, but like ultimately it sort of seemed like when I asked this question of Alexa Miranda, if my reading of that email response was correct, like she said, just stick with the main color yardage that is actually written for your size, and
Mm-hmm.
just you'll use less of your contrast color. Did
Yeah,
I read that
yeah.
right, do you think?
I thought that's how that sounded. Yeah. And when you
Mhm.
look at the contrast color yardage, it's not that much. Um, so like if you were doing a women's large, you
Well,
need
it
620.
it assumes you're going to use 7 colors. So, if on the women's large, I think it calls for 625 yards. So that's a little more than a skein. I mean, that's a little less than a skein of color.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So I think if you were going to do only 4 colors, I think you would be fine. And this is DK weight, and those are usually
30 to
250.
40, yeah.
Yeah, around there, yards per yards
Okay,
per skein. So I think a skein each is going to
excellent.
be pretty good.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
and
sorry.
and the other thing just is like so that the colorways from the samples, there's the one that has 4 colors, so 3 plus the main, and then there's the other that just has 3 colors, 1 main and 2 contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Where
If
are
that,
you getting that, please?
I'm right on the chart page. I don't know
Chart
up at the
A?
top. Well, it just at the tippity top it says colorways, and then
Oh,
it
yeah, I
gives
see that.
yeah.
But it
So,
shows 7 colors, so
but wait, what
samples,
do you mean 7 colors? Because I'm
seven
not.
different colorway, seven different shades there under the colorways, yes? Am I reading that wrong?
Oh no, there are only 4
There are only 4, so maybe.
or
So
5.
what's the one
I
on
They're two
think
the,
I
different,
think the
two
one
different
is
sweaters.
I think the one is the main color.
Good.
Hammock.
One is the little girl sweater and one is the boy sweater.
Mm-hmm.
okay, wait,
Yes.
I'm not seeing
Yeah.
that.
So Pat, right, if you
Yeah,
look at my pattern right up here in this
yes,
colorways part, there's a
yeah,
list for the one that has the white with the red and blues, and that is here. And then the other one, the sort of more teal and gold, that one is here. So two separate sweaters. The ones
okay,
from the sample
all
picture.
right. Let me make it some lines here. Okay.
This might be a good time for my question then.
Great, Vicky. Bring it
So
on.
I sent you a really long email. I don't know if you saw it, complete with pictures. But I'm trying to use stash yarn, and my main color is this dark blue. And then I have enough of this white. I could just do a blue and white one. But I also have this with the speckles
Where is
and
she?
that. And then I have these. And so these are only 49 yards each. That sent me in a tailspin, wondering would I have enough? Would I get around and I would run out? Because I don't know how far you can get with 49 yards. But what I was thinking also is how much does it matter that your colors in your sleeve join with the yoke and then join again over here? Because maybe I could get away with this if I didn't work so hard at trying to make it match all the way across. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that you could probably, you could get really into it and figure out exactly how many rounds you can get out of each mini skein with like a scale and some swatching and things like that. Or you could just go for it. I'm sure these are real. I mean, I can't say I'm sure, but these are like if you look at the charts, the colors,
Oh,
gosh,
I'll hold mine up because I'm
I'm
on
trying to
board.
like block out the shipping room.
Yeah, right.
Um, the motifs are pretty small.
Yep.
So, a lot of them are just 2 rounds.
Yep.
So I think mini skeins would be I think you could get at least a couple of repeats out
Uh-huh.
of a couple of mini skeins.
Well,
Okay.
and I'm also wondering too, like, yeah, absolutely. I think your sleeves you could be creative on your sleeves. You could,
Hmm.
I mean, that's the thing about this pattern is there's a lot of room for interpretation. You know, picture a world where you have, your sleeves are the blue with white, and then the yoke has some exciting color work, and maybe you bring in some like something else down in the lower body, or maybe you just like have exciting color work at the yoke and then you revert to like blue and white.
Okay. Okay. That's a thought. All right.
But I agree with Miranda that because the motifs, some of them are quite short, that's like actually a pretty great way to think about minis. And I think there's some other folks that have been thinking about minis, or I saw Nisi in the comments said she's using a solid main color and a variegated for contrast. So that also is kind of fun.
Yeah, I did. I had other ideas. I just thought this would be a great way to use some of this yarn. So,
Well, and I remember back to something, I don't know if it was Stephen West or Arna and Carlos, but them being like, listen, if it's yarn in your stash, it probably means you bought it because you liked it.
right,
So
right.
chances are that you're gonna enjoy it in a garment.
Yeah, and these colors all happen to coordinate. So, and what's really fun is that the speckled yarn actually has these colors in it, which they were not brought together. So that works really well.
Hmm.
Perfect.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna like dive in. What else can I do?
Yes, I love the spirit of adventure.
Thank
And
you.
sorry for not getting back to your email. It was kind of a whirlwind few days when I got back to work.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't know if you saw it and it was very long.
Is
Let's see.
anybody thinking about doing the Trailblazer or kind of doing a custom charts?
I am.
You are.
I was going to show you this. I'm also blinding out the background, so it probably won't show. Shoot.
I'm gonna add you as a spotlight, Julie.
Um,
Just we can't really see it too
if I
maybe in
put it
front
next
of
to
your
my
face.
face. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
yeah, yeah. Ooh, yes.
This is from Ravelry, but it's a cartography sweater. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, and it was real specific. She measured out these
Robin.
4 skeins, one of each color. There's 4 colors, and that makes me super nervous. And when I was buying this yarn, the woman at the store was like, "Are you sure?" No. It's just this little local place, but that's what it said. It said it will use like a half a skein of each of 3 of the skeins. So anyway, I'm going to try. Oops, I got to keep it right in front of my face, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That is so weird. This blinding it. Otherwise, you see my crazy wall behind me. Sorry. So anyway, but I am going to try, and I've found all sorts of charts. I may just zoom in on this and make my own chart. Like as long as it's in 6, right? You have to do.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
reading that today's. I've never done this before, and it's going to be. I may be pulling my hair out, so we'll see.
It's really fun. I will say that the chart that they have is, I think, the stitch count is 12.
12. Okay, that's easier.
But you could bring it, I
Yeah.
just said 6 because a multiple of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's easier. I do. My other big challenge is I'm a mirror left-handed knitter, and so when you say do it from right to left, I do it from left to right. I don't understand the bottom up. I do have a huge question mark on the. I was just reading your email today again. When you say you do it bottom up, but you're knitting top down, if you could explain that to me, because I'm not good. I haven't had a
Yes.
lot of experience with charts.
So that's it's not such a big deal with when you're doing the regular cartography charts. It's really kind of bends your brain when you're picking your own charts. So like maybe I don't really need to blur out the background. It's just the shelves.
We
You'll
don't.
get to see the inside of the goat, the inner
Yeah.
sanctum of the shipping room.
Okay. Okay, so like when I was picking the charts, because I used doodles,
Yep. Right.
the motifs have a top and a bottom because it's a little picture. So I set them up like this so I know what they would look like. But we are knitting top down.
Right.
So if we knit them this way, up like that, like I have them laid out, the pictures on the sweater itself
Would be upside down.
would be upside down. So you want to turn it over, and we're knitting it that way.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense now. Right.
Yeah.
And
Thank
you know, I was talking with somebody about this as well, as like it's kind of like you're navigating with the map in front of you, with the physical map, right? You have to, if you're doing orienteering, if anybody ever was doing that
Right.
sort of
Mhm.
outdoorsy thing, you have to get your map aligned with north, and so that it
Mhm.
looks
Yeah.
like the world in front of you, which
Okay.
is why this person was having a question about like, well, why do we read this chart bottom to top, just period, just chart
Okay.
question. And it was a
Mm.
fun little map savvy way to make an analogy.
Right, right. Because you knit it, yeah, yeah. You want to look at it as how you would knit it. So
That totally makes sense. Thank you. I'm so glad I asked
yeah,
because
I'm glad you asked
my
too.
brain was really bent.
And that was one of those things I was like, this is going to be so important for people to understand.
Yes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great. Thank you.
Yep,
Because
totally.
otherwise we'll have all kinds of upside down sweaters.
Upside down horses or
Yeah.
upside down
Flowers.
owls.
Yeah. But maybe that's fine. But maybe not.
Anybody else have any questions?
I'm
for
doing my own
Barbara?
charts as well.
Oh, great.
Yes, I really appreciate your publication, Miranda, of the laser. This is what I've been doing the last few days.
So fun.
Basically, I took a few of the things I liked of hers and a few, I have a bunch of things I saved on my computer for Old Fair Isle
Mhm.
motifs and things that I like. So I just tried to make sure my rows going up and down were the same number and that had a multiple of 6 or 12. So
Yeah.
I just barely started, but it's going to be fun, I think.
Yeah.
Really
Oh,
cool. Hold
beautiful.
it right up for us. Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
So I was worried about the colors. It's for my daughter for next Christmas. I gave her a Fair Isle fisherman's cap for this year, and I used some of the similar colors, but this is going to be, so I'm just doing the upper row, and then I'm doing greens. So blues and greens with the tan in the background. So I'm only really
Yeah.
using 3 colors, I think, unless I get kind of crazy and decide to throw something in somewhere.
That's the fun part, right? We can
Yes, right. So
You've
thank you
done a
so
lot
much
of
for all that work you've done.
right, right. Yeah.
Also, I
You did
think Donna, this was Don last year with the Dog Star was Donna's first color work, which is
Oh, yeah,
amazing. And it was beautiful, beautiful work.
yeah.
Oh, well, that one was pretty easy compared to this one. This is my first all over Fair Isle. So
Cool. Oh, great. Well, thank you for that. Other questions?
I have a construction question, but not specifically to color work.
Okay. Yeah.
First time I've made a sweater that doesn't have defined arms, meaning you do the yoke and then you take the sleeve off and it's kind of continuous. And one of the things I don't know how to judge where I need to stop the yoke to not end up with those sleeves where the armhole is really low. So in other words, how do you really measure? I think in the pattern it's maybe E. But do you know what I'm saying? Because you basically start from the top, and then when you cut off the sleeve, since there's no raglan and there's no sewn in, a lot of the sweaters, when you look at the way they end up, people end up with these low, it makes the yoke is so low that your armhole drags. And I just don't know how to judge because that'll depend on where I stop in the pattern to move on.
Hmm.
What's a good way to assess that? Because everything else I have is defined arms. And that's more of a general construction piece, although it impacts the design, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And circular yoke
Do you
sweater.
have yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead. You go
sorry.
ahead.
Sorry,
No.
this is for you, Iris.
No, you go first and I'll go next.
Well, it is, sorry about the squeaky chair. It is E. That's your yoke depth.
Right.
So what size are you doing?
I'm doing, Well, and everybody's talking about their gauges. I did do a swatch, but I just gambled and went with the medium large, or
Mhm.
but I think it's the medium large.
So that has a yoke depth of 9.75 inches.
Yeah.
And so if your row gauge is right, that's not a super deep
Okay.
armhole. So you could take a sweater that you have that you like the fit of and measure the yoke depth.
So, not to be funny, but you have a regular sweater that has a sleeve that's kind of defined in there.
Mhm.
Where do you go to the top of the shoulder? Do you go where the ribbing ends?
Like just like right where it sits at the top of your shoulder
And then down
and
to,
then down to the underarm. So it
Mhm.
might be at
so
a
it'll be angled.
slightly di
It's not straight.
it's not straight. It's going to be
Okay,
maybe slight diagonal.
perfect.
But yeah, I mean you could measure it in a lot of different places, but I from here I think they're going at a slight diagonal.
Yeah.
From the if we look at the
I
Yeah.
know.
slightly
That's why
diagonal
I
arrow.
was like, I just don't, because it's going to be such a pain in the neck to rip back or add
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, but I think even if it ends up being a little deeper, a
Hmm.
10-inch armhole
Okay,
isn't super
Crazy.
deep, I
that's
think.
Mm-mm.
helpful. Thank you.
I think that for me, armhole depth is also a concern because a couple of times I've knit something and the armhole depth has been too high, and that is a definite no-go for me. So,
True. That would be
I
worse than too long.
and also it like I made a sweater and it started to felt under there because of the heat, right?
Right.
And so that's no good either. So, but I think that's a good thing to be attentive of, and um you know, because it's top down, you'll be able to try it on.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
that too.
I am steeking this for the first time. I did all the
Yay.
trying to guess where that front is in a pattern that doesn't have sleeve. Like I kept counting around and estimating that the body is 60%. I mean, whatever. It should be close enough. If anything, I'll have to shift where the back is, like where the beginning of row is. But
Mhm.
so just kind of curious.
That's going to be exciting.
Very exciting. Well, thank you, Issa. I'm glad you're joining us. Good to see you.
Is
And
there
Miranda, you might have to go, right? So,
I have a
yeah, you got to
hearing
get out
or
to
activity.
the knitting group out in the other part of the shop. Any other burning questions, or if something comes up and we feel like it's a good one for Miranda, I'm happy to ask her at a later time and get back to somebody too.
Okay.
But thank you for being here, special guest Miranda.
Thank you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your
Beautiful.
evening. Bye.
Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you.
Great. Well, here we all are back together. I just wanted to see that there was, so as you know, get going on the knit along sweaters in advance so that I'm sort of ahead of things. And here's why I do it. Because last night I was working on my sleeve, my first sleeve, and my chart, my motif did not end where it should end. I took it back and I'm like, what's the matter with me? Everything looks fine. And then, of course, it's late. And usually I'm pretty good about not knitting when it's too late. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Well, just take a gander. Let me just spotlight myself so you can see what is here circled. Okay. Nope, here it is. Okay. See this part that I circled over here? Yes, row 30. It's really hard to point. So what it says there underneath chart notes, ready for this? When working sleeves, you may end up on a part repeat. Oh, okay. Just pat myself on the back for not doing the thing I always tell everybody else to do, which is like, make sure you read all of the documentation on the pattern and be sure that you've read the intro and like, who knows where there could be a really helpful bit of information. Well, it was there. And so, it's underneath the armpit. So, of course, it's not going to be like a big problem that there's a little bit of a jog there for my taste. But anyway, that's why I do this in advance. So you can learn from my mistake.
So, Iris, were you saying that it wasn't lining up at the top or not at the bottom of your sleeve?
At the bottom of my sleeve, I was coming to the end of my sleeve right by the marker and going, wait a minute, how come short, like 5 stitches or something. Like it's just like not a full pattern motif repeat.
Sorry.
And
Round.
in the round. So that's just a good thing to be aware of, that you will for sure see this in an email eventually. Any other questions or just a hello? Particularly if we haven't had you on a knit along before, it'd be great to welcome you if you feel like it, but we're not big on forcing anybody to introduce themselves publicly if you don't want to.
What if you get started and then you find out you're not really excited about the colors you have?
Do like me and start back over. I ripped out 6 inches and started back over.
Yep. That would be my answer too. You got to love your colors. I mean, otherwise, it's a lot of knitting if you're not really excited about what you're seeing in your hands for all those hours, right? We had somebody at the kickoff on Sunday who was going blithely along and was like, I need another color. So she left with another color. She just, and good thing that she was not in too far, right? 6 inches of ripping out. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a nice comment in the chat. Bushita is new to knitting, first knit along, very excited to be here in California, but is not able to chat at the moment. Well, hopefully we'll get you on a Zoom at another time when you can chat with us if you would like to. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Okay, I have just a quick update.
Hi, Kimberly.
My shoulder is healing and I was able to start knitting again.
Oh, hooray! Happy dance! Happy dance!
Happy
Oh my
dance!
God,
Happy
that's
dance! You guys have been
great.
so supportive through my agony, and I wanted to let you know that the agony is towards the end of it now. And I did finish my baby blanket, but I haven't started back on the big blanket yet because I didn't want to destroy what the healing has happened. So
Great idea.
I'm doing small things in short spurts. So, but thank you all for your support. It meant so much to me.
Oh, we're so happy that there's a happy update here to hear.
On the mend.
Oh, great. And for those of you who don't know, Kimberly's a regular with our knit alongs. So we've been with her on a journey through an injury, and she's a really avid knitter. So we couldn't literally feel her pain, but we sure could appreciate how challenging that is to be without your favorite craft.
Oh, I sent your picture to my people because I said I was trying to finish it and they just love it.
So what else? Anybody have anything on their mind?
I have.
Hi, Judy.
Hi. I have made the cartography hat.
Yes.
Okay. And I would like to put a pom-pom on it. And generally, what size do people prefer for, a simple hat?
Well, first of all, I just have to compliment your colors because I really enjoy that, like, against the dark with the reds, and it just feels very cozy.
Yeah, it's the same.
Awesome.
I used the leftover yarn from my dog star.
Super.
Clever. Smart girl.
Okay, and it's not, at first I thought I'd put some of the same designs in, and I said, no, I don't want matching, not matching.
Great.
So, so I just as a practice, I thought I'm going to do that. But this is basically my first hat. So I'm not, and I thought a little pom-pom on there would be nice.
Here's mine.
Oh, let me unspotlight and then, hold on, Pat, you keep her up there and there we go. Oh, cute.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to make one out of the yarn. And that's pretty big.
What color are you which color?
I'm going to do it. I was going to do multicolored, and then I decided I think I'm just going to do it with the dark color.
That'd be pretty.
Yeah.
But the other thing would be combine all the colors in it. but I thought that might be a little tricky for my first pom-pom. So it isn't all one color lumped here or there.
Here's my top tip for pom-pom making is it uses to make a really nice firm pom-pom, you know, really like good chunky one. You need so much more yarn than you would think. So that's the top tip that I have.
I bought a set of the pom-pom maker because it looked like that was going to be
that helps.
The simplest way to do it. And I've crammed as much yarn on there as possible.
Excellent.
I did mine out of yarn, and it's probably the medium one in that set.
Okay. Okay.
Great tip.
Perfect.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, that's a good
I think it's probably like 3 inches across, maybe.
Nisi, I commented in the Facebook, I just love your colors for that first hat because it really just feels like a little like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
The red, white one. I thought that too.
Oh, that's really cool.
This is the one where I just used the variegated and didn't have to change all of my colors.
Wow. Awesome.
And that way you don't have all those ends to weave in. But both pom-poms are probably on the medium side. It looks huge on the screen, but probably the medium size in that set.
Well, I put it on, I wrapped the big one and then because I thought, well, I can always cut it down, but I think I'll just undo it and start over again.
Yeah, like Ira said, it takes so much yarn that you really don't want to waste by, cutting it all off if you don't have to.
Yeah, I think.
Nisi, how do you anchor yours to your hat?
Sometimes I do a permanent but often I'll just leave long strings on the inside and tie it in a bow with a note because all people don't like pom-poms. And so I'll leave a note inside the hat. If you want to make it permanent, be sure to knot it good. And if not, you can just untie it and pull it off.
Makes it easy when you have to wash it too, to take it off.
Right.
Nice. Always with the good tips around this Zoom room.
I have done it with elastic and put a button on the inside too, but that gets a little tedious.
I made a baby hat.
Oh, cuteness.
Oh, cute. We got to spotlight this. It's the cutest ever. Oh my gosh.
That's sweet.
So you had that one online recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
Facebook.
So
Adorable.
this has little flecks of pink and green in it. And again, using stash. And then the green and the pink.
Cute.
Really. And like a little Easter bunny.
Yes.
Well, I made the mitt. This is going to be for my granddaughter who's supposed to be born in February. And I made the beloved hat for her in the same yarn. And then I made the thumbless mittens in the variegated. So I thought, we'll go with that. So
it's
really
beautiful.
Cute.
So pretty.
And it was a good way to test the pattern. And what I was doing in the first part was weaving in all the ends. Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
I just noticed a question from Thushita and asking about what is a fold row. That was a question for Mary. Mary, do you want to answer that?
Sure. I found this when I was doing some hats this fall, and actually what you do is you slip the knit stitches in the rib. So for 2 rows, I slip all the knit stitches purlwise with the yarn in back, and I purl the purls. And then, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it just sort of folds right up.
I'm spotlighting you now. So you are slipping the knit stitches and purling the pearls.
The pearls, right? For 2 rows. And like, I don't know, you can kind of see from the back that I've slipped those, right?
Okay, nice.
But it folds up. So for like little kids, I just find this more helpful, right? Adults can figure it out, right? But for a smaller child hat, I sort of like this approach. And I just found it this fall doing a YouTube video search. So, and if you were doing if you were working a cuff,
Mm.
so it's going down the other way, you would slip the pearls and knit the knit stitches.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I was going to add one thing. I did a tubular cast on the hat because it gives like a really nice, you can't really tell, but it gives a nice stretchy. It's kind of a pain, but you know,
I did
it's
it too. It
stretchy.
took forever to do the
Yeah.
cast on, but it was
But
really
also,
good. I like the
thinking
result.
about a small hat is kind of like a great, if you've not tried it, could be a nice to try it because you're not dealing with, let's say, a bottom up sweater where you're tubular casting on like 350 stitches or something like that.
Yeah. I think it was 88 stitches. And I looked at a lot of different ways to do it. I followed Roxanne Richardson because it was a 2x2. A lot of them were for a 1x1 rib, and she had it for a 2x2 rib.
Nice. She's so good.
That was the
So
first one I
here's
ripped out was the 1x1 rib when I did it all and then went, oh, wait, it's 2x2.
Dang it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I could
Just put it
show
down and go to bed.
I'm doing a baby hat also, newborn size. So just starting, but I started the color work.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I figured this was a good start and it would show my gauge for me, etc. Not doing a sweater this time, but hopefully some bigger hats also.
Cool. Love it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fully show you this, but you know when your sweater gets to be so big and you're working on the sleeves and there's not enough of them yet to really be able to, like, you knit halfway around and then untwist and knit the other way, you know, like in front of you. There just isn't enough fabric yet. So I have a little lazy Susan situation on my desk, so I can just swivel it around and feel pretty clever about that.
That's pretty cool. Very creative.
Cool. Where in the world did you find that?
Okay, well, true story. I think it was the Ramona, maybe, and the Ramona knit along, and I was down with my mom, and she loves a Scrabble. She loves a game of Scrabble, and she has a really nice, you know, kind of Scrabble swiveler, a nice wooden one. And after our game, and I'm like, and the Ramona, gosh, that thing was heavy, and I'm hoiking it around, and I looked at that Scrabble turntable, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to try this. And then I don't know, this one, I got it for cheap at probably Walmart or something, just because I wanted to see, you know, I didn't know if it was actually going to work, this one. Anyway, but it does.
Clever. I've been working on my BYO sweater, and you know, they get chunky too. Of course, I'm in stall mode now. I've got another ball of yarn coming, but to finish it. But you're right. You're forever twisting it around and
it's tough.
wadding it up in a ball.
Yep. Anybody else want to give a little hello or question or anything? A lot of wisdom here in this room.
I
as you
do.
know. Yeah, Linda. Oh my God.
So I wasn't going to play because I didn't need a colorwork sweater. So, but I couldn't resist the fear of missing out. So I did a hat and I started it yesterday and I love it so much that I might do a sweater.
See? You get hooked in. That's my challenge too. Beautiful.
Well, it's so nice to have you back too.
And I have a friend on that is from Maine, Robin. I don't get to see her, but once a year maybe. And so I saw her on the Zoom. Do you see her?
Robin, wave. Oh, there's Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hi, everyone. It's my first time and I'm really happy to be here. I
Awesome.
I started my hat 2 days ago And there'll be 2 hats because I ordered some yarn from you, and as soon as it gets here, I'll start the other one too.
Yay.
But I really, Linda, what yarn are you using?
Loping.
Oh,
I just had a bunch left, but it looks I love how it looks.
Yeah,
it's so well
that's
defined.
okay. And the weight works okay?
It does.
Okay.
It's tight, as my hand hurts, but it always.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. The colors are gorgeous.
And so the color is a fjord blue, and it's yellow. So it's really it looks more golden in this, but it's really a pretty bright yellow called Mama.
Hold that up again. Do you guys see those needle holes?
Oh, yes.
I love them. Oh, they're lobster.
So I'm in Alabama, not a Mainer, but I do love. You've been to Maine. I've been to Maine. And I do love some people from Maine.
That's awesome. Well, everybody loves those lobsters. We can hardly keep them enough stocked in the store. There's a lot of love for the lobsters. And actually, I think it was Jennifer who's down here, and well, she's lower left corner for me. Who knows where she is for you guys? But Jennifer is a local goat who's just you're about what, 40 minutes away, Jennifer? Something like that. Yep. But she was the one that spotted those lobsters and was like, you guys need to get this. She's always got good ideas for us. So we did, and they've been really popular.
I actually wrote to the woman that makes them. And because I know that you guys get them from her, where you get them from. So I sent her an email and I said, it'd be really nice if you could make lobsters for sale that they could sell at the Cashmere Goat. And I have a pair, and I think the next time I have my girlfriends come this summer for our knitting weekend, I usually give them a main gift. Like I gave everybody costume jewelry, lobster earrings a couple of years ago. And last year they got lobster bags. So I think they're going to get the needle point protectors this time. And here's mine.
Let me hold this spotlight. Hang on.
This is and it's slow going, but this yarn is on the round. It was
so great.
It's a colorway that was a special one-time deal. So I got that, and then I have Junction Fiber Mill. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This is what I got.
Nice.
There might be problems with some of the contrast in some points, but I think it'll be enough.
Yeah.
It might be kind of subtle, but I just wanted to play around with it. They're not my colors, but it's for a grandchild who will do really well with these colors. So, and I'm doing it's a hat. I am doing way too many other projects to take on another sweater right now, because I think I have like 4. So I need to calm down, and I'm retiring at the end of the month. So hopefully in February I'll get all caught up, because I'll have lots more time to knit.
Awesome. So great to have you on Zoom. Jennifer is awesome because she'll sometimes come into the shop on a Sunday, and then sometimes you pop in on Zoom with us too, which is neat. Let's see. What else? Oh, I know what I can tell you. This will be coming out in an email, but Alexa, the Tin Cannons designer, is going to meet up with us on Zoom on the 4th of February.
Wow.
It'll be awesome.
Nice.
She's so great and so easy to hang out with, and just wonderful. We just really appreciate any time she takes time to be with us. So that'll be something to look forward to. And actually, Cynthia, I see a beautiful grid gambit on your neck. Can I pin you for a minute here so we can admire this beautiful cowl? Oh, look at that.
Well, that was from our last knit along that I made, and that was fun.
That was awesome. It looks so good in those bold colors.
Looks better with my dress-up coat, but it's nasty weather, so have to wear my parka.
Anyway. Well, it dresses up your parka pretty great too. I'll just say that. Yeah. Awesome. Nice to see a bunch of knit along.
I knitted a hat already. I'll share it with you by email. And my gauge was way off, and the hat came out too big. And I gave it to my daughter for Christmas. And it knitted up really fast, which made me think, oh, I'm really liking this color work, and I'm going to have to knit more of these hats, or maybe a sweater. But after she wore it one day, because it was too big, she said, Mom, could you try felting this a little bit? And I threw it in the wash machine on the gentle cycle, and then laid it out flat, and it fit perfectly. And it got thicker, from the felting. So it worked out great. I'll send you a picture of the finished product because I don't have it here, of course.
Cool.
Took it with her, but
that's great.
I'm gonna try to do better, like following the pattern and getting my gauge right before I get very far, because I need to change my bad habits.
Well, and I will also say too that the blocking is, I used to really think like, geez, Louise, if I get myself a gauge swatch, isn't that enough? Do we really have to go ahead and block it? But it actually really, it sometimes does some interesting things with your yarn. Your gauge may be off by like half a stitch or one stitch, and you block it and you're like, whoa, I'm spot on right now. So if you're really close like that, don't just be like, oh God, I'm just going to go up another needle size. It may actually work out. And that also makes me think of another thing I wanted to mention. A local goat, Cameron, working on a hat, beautiful hat. And her gauge was tighter. She knows she's a tight knitter. So she'd already sized up to size, I think she was already at an 8 and is still pretty tight. But I really thought, wow, I just don't know that at a 9, it just could feel pretty sloppy, and she had blocked it. So we did sort of do some looking at the pattern, and she was real ready. It was Sunday and it was the kickoff day, and she was like, she was going to cast on and get going. So I was like, okay, no guarantees, but okay. And what I was helping her sort of look at, of course, is, well, let's look at the stitches per inch you are getting. Let's multiply that by the circumference, the finished circumference that you want. So we saw that, and then I flipped us to the part in the pattern where you've split the sleeves from the body. So then we looked at, okay, we've got a number here, and let's see if there's a number in this lineup of all those numbers of how many stitches you should have at your body at this point, and let's see if there's a number kind of close. And it was close. And then the other thing that we also thought was, when you are knitting on a smaller circumference, sometimes you're a little extra tight anyway, which is why sometimes people go up on a sleeve or whatever, up a needle size for a sleeve. But ultimately we decided, like, okay, you're raring to go, let's have you go. And what we were looking at is like multiple numbers of the size range that she was kind of aiming for were cast on. It was like the same set of numbers for about 3 sizes or 4. So it seemed safe to cast on and then proceed sort of as she was going. And I was like, but then when you get like a little bit in, let's have you check your gauge. Let's have you like keep checking, just see where we're at. So sometimes there's a little bit of like fudging art as opposed to like strict science, but we do our best. And the great part about our craft is we can also rip it out if things are really wild.
So Iris, just to clarify, so you're talking about blocking the swatch.
Blocking the swatch.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever done that.
I know. It's definitely a shortcut I took for a lot of times. And then there was one particular yarn I was working with, and I was just really struggling. And so finally I was like, well, I'll block it and see what happens. And I was like, oh. And just as a quick update, you'll see this in the email for the Friday knit along email, but Kristen, the Goat's owner, brought her swatch in, and she's using that beautiful new yarn that we talked about in the podcast, the Rambouillet by Juniper Moon Farm. And it looks so pretty. She chose the cream with like a brown, and I think she's using the fell side, which is this color from the BFL, the Blue Face Leicester. It's kind of a really like zingy kind of active green, yellow green. And it was my first time really seeing that Rambouillet worked up as well as, and she'd blocked it, and it just had this light feeling. It is a very light feeling yarn. I think it must be a woolen spun yarn. The way that the yarn is plied is a little extra lofty, and it's very, very nice. So stay tuned for that picture. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yeah, Jenny.
Is anybody using a weight other than DK?
Well, Linda's using the Lopi.
Okay.
And that's like an Aran chunky, right?
So how did you compensate? Are you there?
She's here. She's trying to unmute, I think.
Oh.
So I actually think it's more of a worsted than
okay.
And I didn't compensate. Just bashing on.
But so it's a hat,
right?
Yeah.
I'm going to measure it right now, and I'll tell you. I think it's supposed to be. Let me see what the measurements say I'm supposed to do.
Did you do the adult small or the adult large?
So I'm doing the adult small based on measurement, which says 21 inches. And I believe this is I think it's 20 inches. So it's not far off. The problem is I knit hats for my husband. His head's kind of small. He's not in the room, and they look terrible. So I'm trying to get this one a little tighter. We'll see.
Cool. All right. We'll stay tuned for that.
It fits me okay.
Oh, yeah. Let me spotlight you. That looks cute. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yep.
Looks warm.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's probably too warm for Alabama.
Oh my
Have to go to Maine.
Yes.
I will.
Yes, you will.
And also, Iris, what's the formula of like, is it 2 fingerlings equal a DK or?
Yes, 2 fingerings equals a DK, and 2 DKs equals a chunky. Those are the ones I know by heart. And then when we get to the middle, the in-betweens, like add a sport to a fingering, maybe where are we at? I'm not totally sure. But yeah, those are the ones I know. And you can definitely look up yarn weight combinations online. I'll see if I can find a chart that I like for that.
I think it popped up in Instagram the other day and I might have saved it, but it was this whole, like you said, fingering plus a sport equals a this, and a sport plus a DK equals this. And it's like, oh God. But we all have stash. And you look at it and it's not enough of this and not enough of that. And I'm like, well, could I combine these? Could I use those? That's why I'm wondering about the different weights or combining, getting rid of those fingerings.
Well, and to be honest, like, I mean, that idea too, like Linda was saying, like, if let's say you've got a worsted, a lot of us have like a skein of worsted around. And I feel like, especially if you knit one of the smaller sizes, that's going to fit an adult person, like it just, you're going to be, you just want to like watch your color work and yeah, I mean, I think I think it's possible, especially because DK and Worcester are close too. So that's a nice little translation.
So one note is I did use the same needle size that the pattern called for. So I did not adjust the needle size for the yarn weight. And I looked it up. It is an Aran worsted weight, but to me it feels pretty thin, working with it. Anyway.
I wanted to remember Vicky and we're at 6 o'clock, so we should go pretty soon. But Vicky, you had asked that question about like, well, how much and little bits and that. I just have been tinking actually this whole hour because I realized like I didn't like how something looked and whatever, it's coming out. So thanks for keeping me company on that. But I just tinked out one full sleeve round where I was doing like, I think it was like three of a color against my main color. So 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And I would say for my sleeve, and I'm knitting one of the medium / larger lady sizes, right? I've got like a yard and I maybe have 4 feet of yarn that I used for that sleeve. So like that's like, obviously it's not the body, right? It's not but it's not much.
Yeah,
So
it's not. Okay. Well, just listening to everybody and also seeing Pat's hat, I was thinking maybe I should just do blue and white, and then I wouldn't have to worry about all the other yarns, and I also wouldn't have to weave in any ends. So, and Pat's
And
hat
when you
was
get
very
finished,
pretty.
you may decide to add more colors because you'll be so inspired. You'll see how easy it is with just the 2 colors, and you'll go for broke.
Yeah, maybe. I also thought maybe I should just be making a hat. I don't know. But here we are.
Here we are.
It'll
Well,
be beautiful, whatever you
it'll be
choose.
with so many great beginnings here, and it's not required, but if people do like to get on Facebook, we do have a pretty nice active group this time on Facebook, which is great. People sharing pictures. I don't know that we've had really any questions yet, but if you're the type of person that likes to chime in on social media every now and then, it is a closed group. So it's, you have a few easy questions to answer, but just a nice way. Sometimes in the past, it's been cool because, there's days where I'm in the shop and I'm working. I also work from home, but, sometimes it's it could be a little wait if you're emailing me, or like with the holidays, I didn't get back to Vicky. But a lot of people on Facebook who might get back to you pretty quick with an opinion or an idea or an answer or a tutorial or something like that. So it can be a good community if you want it. But
okay, what's the Facebook page called?
So if you go into one of your emails, I think it was in one of the first 2 emails that I sent. Yep, and I'll probably put it again in the email that's going to go out on Friday. That's a good reminder. Yeah. So we're at 6:03.
I was going to say, makes it sound like I didn't read your email.
Oh, no. I mean, and it's something, the emails are long, so I get it. I get it. But yeah, no, I usually try to like repeat the content too a little bit, some things like that, so people can catch up. But especially around the holidays, right?
Yeah.
But so great to see everybody. Really happy that you're all here. We'll be back here on next Wednesday to connect again. And in the meantime, shoot me an email, pop into the Facebook group, and happy knitting on your cartographies.
Thanks.
Thank you.
To all the newbies.
Bye. Super great to see everybody.
There.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.